Hey, it's Rob from Wheelworx Bike Shop in Dublin. We're going to unbox a fancy new checkpoint. It's one of the new colours. Bogdan's behind the camera. He's trying not to trip over walking backwards. So, this is the checkpoint SLR7. So the SLR is the top of the range lightweight frame. The geometry is slightly different in the SLR to the SL as well. The sound should be a bit better. I don't need to shout. We've got a new microphone on. And this is one of the new colours. I've been looking forward to seeing this. So like I said, the SLR relates to the frame. The 7 relates to the build and the group set. So it should be GRX Di2 in the mid-range build. Can't actually remember the name of this new colour. So, and I forgot to get the cable cutter, so I'm going to put the bike down and Bogdan can do a close-up and I'll be back in a second. You probably got all the wind of me running with the microphone on. Okay, so remembered the microphone, forgot the cable cutters. So it's like I said, it's GRX Di2. It's eTap, is it? So it is.
The new tram eTap.
That's right, because when we were building this a couple of weeks ago, there was GRX Di2 was not an available option, which I would take. So if I was to read into that situation, that GRX Di2 isn't an available option on the checkpoint in Project 1 at the moment, you could read between the lines and assume that maybe there's a new GRX coming. So I think that'll be 12 speed when it happens. We don't have a date, we don't have anything official at all, that's just me guessing. But I'd imagine the fact that the GRX is off the range, it's a good enough indication that there's something new coming at some stage. So it's a satin finish. Can't remember the name. I'll stick it in the description of the video. On Treasure GR1 tires. Aeolus Pro 3V wheel set. So the Pro 3Vs are, they're 35 or 37 mil deep, and the V then is for volume, so they're a wider rim, so the bigger tires sit better on it. We've got the nice Project 1 decal down here. It's the new SRAM Force 1x, it's a 40-tooth chainring. We'll have a look at the new derailleur. That's the new SRAM rear derailleur. Gigantic cassette. And we'll have a look at the fork. So you've got a colour change on the fork. We built this one, I think, with the ISO core handlebar. So the ISO core handlebar is a carbon handlebar, and ISO core, in a very non-sciencey description, is I think it's a type of rubber filament that they weave through the carbon fibre to help absorb vibration, so it's a more comfortable bar. Apologies, Von Treasure people, if I've butchered the description of that, but it's more or less correct. So it's got a square profile on the front, so your cables sit nice and neat, and when you wrap it, then you end up with a round bar. That's the new SRAM levers. It's a really nice finish on the levers. The hood, I think, is slightly smaller than the previous one.
It took the same profile as rival.
Okay, so it is slightly different, and the silver has a sort of a prismatic shine to it that doesn't show up very well on a dull day like today. The sun was shining earlier, but I think we've missed that. So that is Checkpoint SLR7 eTap. We'll get it into the workshop, we'll get it built. There's a customer due in for this one shortly, so we'll get some photos before it leaves the building. Just throw the handlebar on. The Checkpoint has lots of mounts for bags and internal storage. So you've got mounts on the top of the top tube up here. You've got multiple mount positions on the frame and in underneath the top tube here for a frame bag, so you can mount the bags directly into the frame. Contraser make bags for it. You have multiple bottle cage mounting points. There's mounting points underneath the frame. There's also, you've got frame armor underneath the down tube down here to catch rocks and stones or any of that sort of debris that comes up off the front wheel. You've got a plate on the inside of the frame here to protect the frame in case you do get a chain dropped or chain suck, and you've got frame armor underneath here as well. So it's well thought out and designed for gravel off-road, regardless of whether the gravel you're riding is smooth or very rough. You've got clearance for 45mm tyres. Interesting feature on the Checkpoint is you've got a dropped chainstay on the drive side. You see it's much lower to give you clearance for tyres and chains. You've got internal frame storage in here, so you pop that open. Little mini tool sits in the door, and your tube, tyre levers, mini tool, CO2 all goes into the tool roll. Roll that up, push it back inside the frame. Make sure that the little red tab is at the right end so that you can pull it out, and your door pops back on, locks in place. And that's most of the details. The top cap on the headset has a little rubber gasket here where the cables port into it to keep dirt and oil and water and grit and stuff like that out, because obviously with a gravel bike you're going to be using it in wet and muddy conditions. So you could ride cyclocross, grass, you can tour on it, bike packing, all that sort of stuff. So it's very versatile, really light. That's it. We'll get it in, we'll get it built, bar taped, saddle, and we'll get some video and photos of it when it's finished.